one ER about the other. Listen up, you're at a higher time in your life. Right now, you're listening to Avril. Let the truth be known.
In the politics area, you know, she have it.
Never had a boring moment in my life.
She's the voice of the Caribbean.
Back as I remember, I was never alone. Queen Avril is on the throne. No more feeling lonely. Every rules the air, you know. Every day is like an Avril day.
Okay, we're getting there, and I thank you to each and everyone who already sign on to the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, this is not a Facebook Live show, so if you do not comment on the thread, we do not know exactly who is watching, but we know that you're out there and you're watching. We thank you anyway for joining us right here on the Avril Show. So stay tuned. We're coming up tonight with a very interesting topic, interesting Monday night. And I know this is something that many of you would like to talk about, hear about, and have family that may need the information. So feel free to spread the information, spread the love. Information should be contagious, especially when it's important information. And you know, it's so amazing that I'm joined tonight, Avril Francis and Monique Francis. So it is the Francis family. So you know you're going to have a great show. And to everyone who already tapped in, Curtis Crook in St. Kitts, good night to you. Problem Phipps, good night to you also for tapping in and saying good night. So on behalf of Monique and myself, good night to you. And we hope that tonight information will be informative, interesting, and something that you would like to share with people that you know, because we all need this information in a time like this. Good evening to you, Monique Francis.
Hello.
Okay, I can hear you loud and clear. Good night and welcome. And we start, I start this show on time, and I tell folks that you look at the show now and tomorrow morning is a whole different number, because people look at it anytime. And that's the great thing about it, that people can share it, so others can see it. And if you're out there and you want us to know that you are watching, feel free to do like Curtis and everyone else that type on the screen and say good night. So if you're out there, you know, a lot of people, they will send me their concern. You hear people talking every day about the immigration issues, and no one is asking you to come forward and put your question or put your name or your business out there. But if you know someone with an issue and you want to ask a question on their behalf, just, tap it on the chat. And I know Monique can see it later. Also, she has enough information to share tonight. So just sit back and embrace yourself. And we are going to go into some questions tonight. I know, Monique, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking your busy time out to be here at 9 p.m. in the night, here with Avril. But I would allow you to introduce yourself, because when I said Monique Francis, it feels good here in the Francis.
Hi again, and thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Monique Francis. I'm currently serving as the interim executive director at CUNY, which is the City University of New York. The program is called Citizenship Now. And basically what we do is provide free immigration services to anyone who lives in New York. We provide citizenship services for folks who are outside of New York. But if you have a disposition, we try to tell you that you need to find a local provider to help you. But if you come to us and you have an immigration issue, you're guaranteed to get a consultation. And then we'll advise you whether or not it's advisable for you to proceed with that immigration benefit or an application at this time. So that, in a nutshell, is who I am and what we do.
Okay, thank you so much, Monique. I know I'm not going to keep you all night. I'm not going to keep you here until 10:30 and 11 o'clock. No, we're busy people, but we're here to give you people in the community, wherever you are, no matter if you're in the islands, you have family abroad that may need this information. So also feel free to share it. But we're going to talk about, I know I understand some of the things that you talk about, and one of them is protection from deportation. How can someone be protected from deportation?
So for right now, let's talk about the services that we're offering. This Saturday, May 17th, we are going to be at John Jay College, which is a CUNY campus location in Midtown Manhattan, around 59th Street. We're going to be there providing free citizenship application assistance. That is for anyone who is over the age of 18 and who is a lawful permanent resident or green card holder in the United States. If you're married to and living with a U.S. citizen, the USCIS allows you to apply 2 years and 9 months from the date that you got that green card. But you have to be living with and married to that same U.S. citizen to apply under what they call the 3-year rule. So on Saturday, basically what we'll be going over is confirming whether or not you have a green card, confirming that you've met the physical presence, the continuous residence requirement, which means that you have to have been living in the United States for 5 years, and half of that 5 years, which is 912 days, you have to be physically present in the United States. Some of the other things that we'll go over, we'll screen you to see if you're eligible for a fee waiver, and fee waivers are available for folks who meet certain criteria. The main one is if you're on public assistance, and that is food stamps, Section 8. If you're getting a Medicaid, that is very common. Obamacare is what we mostly know it as, but this is the New York State Medicaid program. If you're getting that, you're eligible for a fee waiver. If you're on disability Social Security, you'll get eligible for a fee waiver as well. So basically what we'll go over is screening you to see that you're eligible for citizenship. If you're eligible, we'll help you complete the form. And by the end of the event, you'll be walking out with a completed packet that is ready to be mailed to USCIS. And if you get the fee waiver, you can actually go to the post office and send it off. So in terms of protection from deportation, becoming a United States citizen is
Wait, before
absolute.
we go any further, so you say this is going to be at John Jay College in Manhattan?
Yes, the event is this Saturday. The doors open at 10 a.m. and we'll close at 1 p.m. We still have available appointments. To get an appointment, you can call 646-664-9400. I'll repeat that again. It's 646-664-9400. Or you can go on our website, cuny.edu/citizenshipnow, and you can actually request for us to give you a call back. And on the website, we also have our number that you can text us, and we'll schedule you for an appointment. We recommend that everyone get an appointment because basically we'll remind you what you need to bring, your green card, your passport, all of your pertinent immigration documents that you need for us to go through your immigration history. We'll actually tell you what you need to bring so that you're prepped for the consultation with an attorney. And
Awesome.
The good thing is the services is 100% free.
That's what I'm talking about, because I know there was times when people are looking for how they can do their citizenship and all this. So you can't have anything out here that is offered to you and you don't take the opportunity. But to be the way things are right now, do you feel that people comes out because they want the help? And is there still any fear in folks coming out to do these things?
No, for green card holders, no. So we do this event every month, and on a monthly basis, we register 150 people, and we have at least 100 that show up. This is our biggest event of the year. We have a number of partners, nonprofit organizations. We call this our mega event. We are going to be registering at least 500 people with a goal of serving 300 applicants. And as I mentioned, green card holders are not usually targeted by ICE. You know, these are lawfully permanent residents who are here. Even if you have an arrest record or some kind of complicated immigration history, this is an event that you should come out to see, you know, what's that complication and whether or not it's going to prevent you from becoming a citizen.
Awesome. So when they talk about protection from the deportation,
citizenship is the number one thing that protects you from deportation. If you are a United States citizen, you cannot be deported.
okay, because I know someone sent me that message today and sent me a video where this gentleman, it has out there that, oh, Donald Trump signed into law to deport citizens. So, you know, there's all kind of rumors and
Misinformation.
videos.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what this administration has said is that it's going to be looking at the applications for the people who naturalized in the last 5 years, and they want to basically go through them with a fine-tooth comb to see, you know, whether or not there was anything fraudulent that, you know, they could denaturalize folks. The last time around that they tried to do it, it was a target towards folks who have Muslim backgrounds, and the number of people that they were able to denaturalize was very minuscule. So while the constant misinformation of people who are being, you know, returned home, there's been a lot of, you know, things on TikTok and social media about folks who have dual nationalities who are being denied admission. When you come back into the airport as a green card holder or even as a U.S. citizen, you have certain rights that are afforded to you. And those are the things that we can talk about, you know, what those rights are. As a U.S. citizen, you can come and go as you please. You can, if you are from the Caribbean, you can go home in the winter, leave in October and come back in March when it's warm again. You know, so those are things that you have to be mindful of.
Okay, so when you we spoke about travel more easily, less scrutiny when you return to the US, and you know, what making it so difficult for travel now when people are afraid to travel? Because someone her question is traveling to St. Kitts on a St. Kitts passport and coming back. She would prefer to travel from here to St. Kitts on her St. Kitts passport. What's the difference?
If you are a United States citizen, you have to leave the country on your U.S. passport. When you get to the other country, whatever that country is, if you're a dual citizen, you can, I know there are benefits for you to, you know, enter your country on the other passport because you don't get the embarkation tax. There's a tax that you pay when you go back home. Yeah, so
Yes.
a lot of people like to use their CARICOM passport because, you know, they don't have to pay that tax. But USCIS require, and not USCIS, Department of State requires that when you're leaving the United States, you leave on your US passport so that they have a record of where you are. When you're entering back the country, you have to use your US passport to enter the country as well. But the issue that you've been seeing on the internet is people when they're going back to their home country and the requirements for that home country.
Yes. So is it a smart move to, I mean, some people, they feel that, well, I'm going home anyway. I can use my passport to go to my country. So what's the purpose of using a US passport? And I always feel if you have a US passport, I don't see the sense of traveling on your country passport. As you say, some people, maybe it's to avoid paying the taxes, you know, but you're coming back, and there was a time here they stamp your passport. So if they stamp your passport coming into your British country, and then you're leaving out on the US passport.
So there are other reasons why people tend to use their second nationality passport. Like if you're going to a country that does not require a visa, right? And they require American citizens to have a visa, and your country, your home country, let's say for instance Anguilla, and you're going to Europe, right? Anguillans are UK citizen, UK nationals, so they don't require a visa to go there. But I'm not sure whether or not US citizens, but that's another reason why you would want to use your passport when you're going into the other country. But it is still advisable that you use your United States passport when you are boarding the flight to leave the country. What happens when you get to the other country, you can use your other country passport, whatever it is, or if it requires a visa, you have to use that passport to enter that country.
And let me ask you a question now. What about people who stay more than 6 months out of the US country? Is that a problem for a US citizen to stay in, like, say, Antigua, Jamaica, St. Kitts, any place over 6 months?
Yeah, so for US citizens, that's what I was mentioning. So becoming a citizen is the absolute protection where you do not have to worry about the length of time that you're outside of the United States. That only applies to green card holders who are supposed to be permanent residents living in the United States. If you're a US citizen, you can move to Timbuktu and stay there for however long you want to stay there. If you're working in Timbuktu, there's a requirement that you have to pay taxes and all that kind of stuff. But that's some more, if you would like to have a consultation on that in terms of, like, what are your requirements if you want to move and live in another country, that's a one-on-one consultation, because you have to talk about what country you're going to, if there are any tax treaty laws with that country. So there are a number of different reasons why you would want to have a consultation with an attorney to go through, whether or not you're required to return to the United States. But generally, US citizens, once you become a citizen, you do not have that 6 months rule that you have to be back into the US.
Okay. But someone who is not a US
Yeah.
citizen.
So a green card holder, they tell you this when you get your green card. You should not be out of the country for more than 6 months at one time. If you know that you're going to be out of the country, there is a form that you can file. It's called the reentry permit. You notify the USCIS that you're going to be out of the country. You file that application before you leave. If you're abroad and something happens and you know you're not going to be able to make it back, you can file that as well. And it basically lets them know that this is a circumstance that you're going to be outside for more than a year, and that you apply for that request for you to be outside.
Wow. And I always thought that having a green card, you can go and come whenever you want.
No. So there are certain benefits of being a US citizen, and this is one of them: the ability to travel easily and to also have less scrutiny when you come back into the airport. So this has been happening, and I know that I've seen this on a lot of social media, where green card holders who are coming back into the country are being scrutinized a lot more than US citizens. And that's because they basically are looking for ways to deny entry to any individual. So I know this was not in our original topics to discuss, but if you are leaving the country and you're a green card holder and you know that there is something in your immigration history, whether it's a criminal arrest, anything at all, you should actually have a consultation with an attorney. On May 15th, when the New York Times issued the proposed list of travel ban countries that the administration was looking to implement, one of the things that we're advising people is, right now, because this is still not in effect, before you leave, make sure that you talk with someone before you leave the country. And that is someone who is authorized to give you immigration and legal advice, to tell you, these are the pros and these are the cons. I know a number of Caribbean countries was on that list. It has not been made there's no travel ban that's in effect right now. But if you are a green card holder and you know that you're going to be traveling, if you've ever been arrested for anything, even if it's a minor, as something as simple as a subway ticket, you should definitely ask for a consultation. And the same number that I advertised before, you can also call that number and request a consultation. And that number again is 646-664-9400.
Okay. Well, a question here. This might not be for you. I don't know if it's, but I'm just gonna say it, and you would let me know. being in this country, and we spoke about it, and yeah, you have something like this, obtaining a certificate of citizenship. There was a young lady who has there was one time when you get your green card, and it's stamped, the number is stamped into the passport. Or what she's saying is that the passport is expired, so she
Okay.
cannot travel. What should she do now? Is still the green card is still legit?
So two separate issues here. So if your native country passport is expired, there are a number of ways that you can get that passport renewed in the United States, or if you have the ability to send it back and get it renewed back home, you need to make sure that you always have a travel document, and that is a valid passport. Your green card. It depends on how long ago she had that green card. If it's one of those green cards that never expired, then it never expired. But if you have a green card that expired 10 years ago or whatever it is, lawfully you're supposed to have a valid green card. If you do not have that green card, if you only have that stamp in your passport, I would let the person know that they need to file the form to get their green card. And if they're eligible for citizenship, we'll actually tell them it's probably better that you apply for citizenship and you can renew your green card at the same time.
Okay, so you're saying that the fact that the green card, the passport is expired, does that mean the green card is expired also?
No, so the thing is that the person would need to look, if they've never gotten a physical copy of their green card, which I'm thinking that's what they're saying because they only have the stamp in their passport.
When
Then
there was a child.
It was a child. Okay. So then I would have them call us for a consultation, go through the process. We may decide that we need to figure out if they actually have more than that. And then we can do a FOIA request, which is a Freedom of Information Act request with USCIS to get a copy of their immigration file, which would include proof that they're a green card holder. And there's one of two things. If they got this green card when they were a child, one of the things that we would screen for is whether or not they derived citizenship from a parent who became a US citizen. If their parents did not become a US citizen, then it would be going through the process of applying for citizenship or applying to renew their green card.
Oh, okay. All right. Informative presentation tonight. Thank you so much, Corinne. Okay, so obtaining a certificate of citizenship for children who derive U.S. citizenship and those who only have U.S. passport as proof of citizenship document to carry if you do not have a green card. Explain that.
All right. So what the person is saying is that once you become a U.S. citizen, all of your children who are under the age of 18 who are green card holders automatically become US citizens. And there are two ways that you can get the proof. The easiest way is always to get it using the passport application form, applying for a US passport. It is cheaper. I think right now it's costing like less than $160. And it's faster to get a US passport that way. The other thing that you can apply for is the child's certificate of citizenship, but that is with USCIS. To apply for a passport, you're applying with the Department of State. So if you want to get a certificate of citizenship, you can apply for that with USCIS. That is also a form that there's a fee waiver. So again, if you're getting a means tested benefit, if you're unemployed right now, if your income is below a certain level, those are the things that you can use to apply for a fee waiver and request that certificate of citizenship for your child as well.
Wow. So let me, because of all the rumors out there, what document, you just said it, but is there specific, someone was saying, should you walk around with your green card in time like this with the deportation issue? Is it best to carry your country if you're here undocumented, like you don't have your green card, but you file?
Yeah, so
Your
you just
file.
mentioned a couple of different status. So let's just break it
Hmm.
down for like a number of organizations right now are giving Know Your Rights presentations that covers not only undocumented individuals, but everyone all the way up to United States citizen. Like ICE has been targeting a lot of people, and nobody's walking around with a T-shirt that says "I am a U.S. citizen." So the information that we're providing in our Know Your Rights presentation also covers what U.S. citizens should be carrying around as well. In the event that you were stopped, racially profiled, this is what you need to have with you. So for U.S. citizen, your driver's license is usually the thing that you have on you. With the real ID right now or the enhanced IDs, both of those documents prove that you have some type of status, and you can show that to anyone who stops you. If you're a green card holder, you mentioned as well, there are a number of different forms of proof that you can show. You can show the stamp in your passport if you have that, or you can actually show your physical green card. As a part of our Know Your Rights presentation, what we've been telling folks who have mixed status, people who are undocumented, people who have no status, be careful with the documents that you carry around. So if you are on a temporary status or deferred status, you make sure that you have a work authorization document. That is something that you can carry. You can either carry the physical card or you can carry an electronic copy that's on your phone. So at least if any, some people don't like to carry around their official documents. So a picture ID is valid enough proof that you can show to an official. If you have no status whatsoever, New York is one of those states that have two avenues for people who have no status. One is their New York City ID, which is called ID NYC. And that basically has your name. It has an address for you, which is the identifiers that a police officer or an ICE agent is asking you. Present to them who you are. If you do not have an ID NYC, which is everyone should have, even if you are, because it offers so many different benefits. If you don't have that, New York State allows under what they call the green light law for undocumented individuals, certain undocumented individuals, let me say that, to obtain a driver's license or a non-driver's ID. Unfortunately, that ID is only valid in New York State because with the Real ID federal law coming out, you can't travel on that ID. But that is enough of a proof of who you are and where you live, which is oftentimes the documents that a police officer or ICE agent is asking you for, which is identifying yourself. If you have none of those things, then the other information is you should not be carrying around documents that identify your country of origin. And that's the information that we've presented into a number of Know Your Rights presentations. A number of organizations around the city are still giving these presentations. Some of them are offered virtually. You can call 311 and ask them, and they'll give you that information on where you can find the next Know Your Rights presentation to get a longer list of things you should and should not do when you're encountering law enforcement agencies.
So you're saying you got to be careful what ID you're walking around with.
Yes, but particularly for those who are undocumented.
Okay. So a person who is here that is, when they were young, given their green card and thought they was a U.S. citizen. Okay, I wish you could type the question better. They thought they was a U.S. citizen through the way they got their green card. But now they're older, they realize they're not a U.S. citizen, which they thought they was because of how they was given documentation when they were younger. How does this work rectify this situation for you to become a citizen? They just have to file for it. They can come on Saturday and file for citizenship.
So if the individual has a green card that has their name and their information on that green card, then they can come on Saturday. If they know that there's something funky with that green card in terms of, like, they did not enter the country correctly, they probably obtained that document fraudulently, then Saturday is not the event for you. You actually need to come into a more one-on-one personalized consultation with the attorney. Saturday for folks who have more straightforward cases that we can go through and finish in a one-day setting.
Okay.
But just for the individual, if you know that there's something not straight with that green card, you should find an organization that is going to offer you a consultation. You can call Citizenship Now, but there are a number of different organizations around the city right now that provide services free of cost, and you can get a consultation. Like I mentioned before, one of the things that we would do is if you tell us that, you know, you don't know how you got the green card, you know, it came in when you were a baby and, you know, this was what was given to you, we would actually do a FOIA request, which is this basically asking immigration to give us a copy of your documents. And that request is basically going to tell us, one, that you are a green card holder or you're not a green card holder. It's basically asking for a copy of your immigration file so we can know how to move forward with your processing.
Okay, well, I know you answered the two main questions that I get. And I was so concerned the other day when a gentleman says that he was waiting to be called into immigration for his interview. And he got the call to come in. And when he went in with his attorney, they asked the attorney to fill some documents, and the attorney went into one room, he went into another. He never sees attorney again because they kept him and he was put into deportation. So people are putting so much information out there in their own way that it becoming scary for people. So someone was asking, should they go for their interview if they get a call from immigration to say that it's time for their interview? Should they show up?
So that is one of the first things that organizations are covering in their Know Your Rights presentation. And that if you have a scheduled appointment with USCIS, you must attend that appointment. The information that you shared regarding the person who was detained and put in deportation proceedings, that's a longer process that's an onion that you need to unfold and figure out what happened. One, if the attorney did not file to say that they were representing that person before USCIS, that may be a reason why they put him into a separate room, because he probably did not have the correct documents. A lot of attorneys right now, before they take their person in to immigration, they're going through everything. They're dotting their I's and crossing all their T's, because they know if they have a suspect that the person is going to be detained, then they will advise you differently. But like I said, that may be a different fact pattern than what is being presented to you in terms of, did the person have a prior deportation order, and when they went in, that's why they detained him. So that one has much more layers added onto it. But the main point is, if you have an appointment with USCIS, and if it's for something like you're adjusting your status or you are going in for biometrics or one of your other applications, you should keep that appointment. What you do not want is missing that appointment and you getting a notice to appear, or you abandon your case and then immigration will send you a notice to appear, or they will tell you that you need to leave the country. So if you have an appointment, make sure you keep that appointment. If you are concerned about going in, then you should find an attorney to go in and represent you. The attorney will basically review everything with you before they take you into USCIS. Because like I said, if there's anything in your immigration history or your criminal history that is going to lead to you getting detained, then an attorney would advise you against, you know, what's your best option.
Okay, so a question. If a person was here undocumented for many years and choose to file for themselves, through a marriage, but the husband is deceased.
All right. So that, are you reading someone's question? Because that's a different.
Yes. The person got married. The husband got deceased during the filing issue. So the person did it themselves. Should a person like that be filing for themselves, or being that they was here undocumented for so long, or should they have an attorney to do it in the time of what's going on. They already
Yes.
filed, they're just waiting to be called for an interview, but the husband deceased during
So
the
basically, what the
process.
person is talking about is self-petitioning. So in the United States, you can you have to get your green card in a number of different ways. The first one is a family-based petition. The second most common one is employment-based. In some circumstances, USCIS allows you to self-petition for yourself, which is what the person is saying. So they had a pending adjustment of status case. Their spouse has now died, so they do not have a family member to move forward with them, and USCIS is now allowing them to self-petition. Given that fact pattern, I will say that any kind of immigration process that you're going through right now should not be done alone. You should consult with an attorney or an authorized immigration expert who is going to let you know whether or not you can file pro se, which is on your own, or if you need to be represented. And that is what a number of organizations are doing right now. They're doing that triage because they know the current state of affairs. And that is what we do as well. We are telling you, do not file, and we're telling you the pros and cons of filing, and then we'll let you know at the end of the process why we're advising you not to file for something right now. Because, you might put yourself in more jeopardy than you are right now.
So just to be clear, so you're saying the person was here undocumented for many years. They got married to a US citizen, but the US
And
citizen died, the person died. So they continue to do the process by themselves, but they're just on a waiting list. However, they do it at immigration, will tell them, they're on the waiting list to
yeah,
be
you're
called to
waiting.
come
Yeah.
in for the interview. So you're saying even though they were married to a US citizen, they should still seek help from an attorney.
Yes. Like I said, there are a number of organizations that are funded by both the city and state to provide free immigration law services. It might take you 2 weeks to get an appointment. It may take you 3 weeks to get an appointment. But given the current state of affairs, given the fact pattern that you've mentioned with this person where they're undocumented, they've been here a long time, they no longer have an immediate relative, which is their spouse. They already started the process. It would not hurt for you to get a consultation from someone who can give you quality legal advice. It's for free. And the other thing is that we can check what's the status of your application. Did you miss something from USCIS? It depends on how long ago you filed. We can check the processing time to see how long that they're taking to process your application. All of those things, someone who is practicing this area can go through that with you and make sure, and they can give you like, okay, you have another year to wait, or you have another 2 years to wait based on how they're processing these applications.
Because it's not something you could check online and know that.
No, you can. That's what I'm saying. You can, with your receipt number that you have from USCIS, you can go on the website and you can put in that receipt number and check your case status. You can actually go online and create an account, add that receipt to the account, and it will give you all of the processing time for your current application. You can do that on your own. But like I said, there are a number of organizations that have competent legal professionals that under this administration, it would be foolish for you not to take the opportunity of getting this legal help right now.
Well, you heard it here, and you also heard Monique, you know about all the videos that's out there and all these
Yeah,
spear tactics, and when you see them, they look so real,
I know.
So I'm trying to avoid asking this question that someone say, is ICE still going around? Is ICE still picking folks up?
But of course, listen, these people started out with a number of people that they wanted to deport. They are failing miserably at finding, according to them, they were looking for the criminals. They can't find those people because they're criminals, right? So they have now started to target people who are lawfully present in the United States. So you've seen a number of green card holders who they've targeted for a number of different reasons. Some of the information that you've seen on social media is actually accurate, where when you come into the country, they're trying to get people to give up their green card. The other day they were offering, I think, $1,000 for people who are
Yes.
here unlawfully to leave the United States. So basically right now they are doing everything in their might, including a lot of fraudulent thing as posting as, Con Ed workers, posting as mail people, trying to get people to open up their doors, to come into their homes to detain them. So, like I mentioned before, there are longer Know Your Rights presentations that give you more up-to-date information on the ICE tactics right now. So you should, get some more information through those Know Your Rights. But like I mentioned, ICE is doing everything they can right now, including paying for some really expensive commercials on TV saying, leave and we may let you come back. If you've been here unlawfully for so many years, the rule is if you're here for more than 1 year, you're barred for a certain time, and that bar goes up to 10 years. So when you step foot out of the United States as an undocumented person, just know that you're not coming back.
And why would anybody in a time like this want to step foot out of the US and
Well,
take a chance?
so I do focus on some of the social media, because some of it is funny. So the folks who cross the border, who pay to cross the border, those folks have been making fun of this $1,000 that is being offered for them to leave. So if you've been here for a long time, you've made a life here, you're working, you're paying taxes, you're doing everything that 10 years ago they encourage you to do. I'm not sure what plans you have or if you have the same opportunities outside of the US, but those are the things that you have to weigh in terms of the risk of being here.
You heard it here. And if you just join, Adeline Mills, good night to you. Queen Vibes, good night to you. Ram Mills, Claudette Tyson, Laverne Taylor, Pat Dawson, and everyone who just joined. We're here talking about immigration issues, knowing your rights, some of the things that you need not to do and what to do. Because there was one time somebody say, you need to walk around with if you're from the island, carry your passport. So in case they pull you over, they know where you're from. Then I heard another story say, you should not even want them to know which country you're from. But I said, but if you have a green card, then why do you care if they know which country you're from? If you haven't done anything illegal, because they said if they know where you're from, it's an easier process in deporting you.
Yeah.
But if they don't know, but who want to sit down in ICE lockdown for how long because they don't know where to send you? Wouldn't you prefer they know where to send you and send you home?
Well, like I mentioned, that's the conversation that you have about the risk. Everything right now is, even as a green card holder who has like a serious criminal offense, who now is, worried that, if they travel and come back in, something that would not have been an issue under the previous administration is now an issue. So if you're undocumented, if you have any kind of mixed status, if you have anything, criminal history, now is the time for you to take this opportunity to speak with someone about, what you can or cannot do,
Well, someone apparently, Troy Welch, just joined. Troy, Monique Francis spoke about the $1,000. Yes, she spoke about it, but one thing he asked, is it
we still don't know.
after you leave? Or also you don't know when you get it, if it's before you leave or after? So how are you going to get it after you leave? Are they going to post it to you?
So that's the comedy that we're going through with this current situation. I would call it that. Yes.
Okay, well, I would think that anyone who could get their free citizenship now share this information and let them go down to on Saturday. That's the 17th. Yeah. And
Yes,
it's on
Saturday, June
my Avril community page. The flyer is also there. The information is there on Avril community page. So I'm saying if you need to become a citizen and don't take advantage of this situation, then don't complain Monday morning. You have the fear and all these things that we're talking about. If you're a green card holder, you're going to do the right thing. You're going to become a U.S. citizen. So it's at John Jay College. Monique, it's at John Jay College, right?
Yes. So yes, we are going to be at John Jay College. You can call us this week for an appointment. Like I mentioned before, we're going to be serving at least 300 people that day. It is a number of different organizations and partners from around the city who are joining CUNY to bring this event to you free of cost. If you cannot make it this Saturday, we have another event that's going to be on June 7th. We're going to be in Brooklyn. So basically what our organization does is that we provide these immigration services free of cost. We are funded by the New York City Council members, and we go out into their council member districts to provide the information there to them. So our last event for this fiscal year is going to be in June. We start back up in September. But if you need to get your citizenship right now and you cannot attend these 2 Saturday events, you can call us or you can go on our website. Again, it's cuny.edu/citizenshipnow. You can request an appointment. We offer services Monday through Friday. And we also offer them virtually. So you can meet over Zoom with someone and get your application completed. We will send you the form, you print it out, we tell you what to put into that packet, and you can mail it out.
And what's the number for them to call?
646-664-9400.
Okay,
Alrighty.
646-664-9400. And I know you see, I don't know if you could see that.
I see
that
this
one.
one. Yeah, so there's a question from another Francis. Hi, Davin. So if you recently got your green card and you applied for a social security number, and at the office they told you that your green card is not showing up in the system. So this is probably a person who recently got their green card. Normally what happens is once you come into the country, USCIS has already notified the Social Security Administration that you've entered and you're supposed to get a green card. So I would say you need to do 2 things. One, you need to go in to the Social Security office with your stamp. And if you've not gotten your physical green card as yet, you should wait for that and go in. You can make an appointment and you take in those 2 proofs to show them that you're a green card holder. If that doesn't work, they would have to escalate it within the Social Security Administration, because it's probably something where there's a name issue. Your name probably was misspelled. There are a number of different things that you can do. So I would do that first in terms of taking in the physical green card or the stamp in your passport, if you do have that. And if you're a recent arriving green card holder, you'll probably give it a notice that you needed to go and apply to get the green card in the mail. I would just wait for the green card in the mail and then go back to Social Security with the physical evidence that you're a green card holder.
But the message say the person recently got a green card.
Yeah.
So they have the green card.
So you need to take in that physical proof and escalate the matter within Social Security. There may be a name spelling issue. If it's, maybe Devon was spelled incorrectly, and that's the reason why you have a name check issue.
Okay, you heard it, and good night to you, Gloria Bent. That 1,000 after sound like a bait and switch.
Yes, it's basically they need to beat the deportation numbers from 12 years ago. So as many people that they can get to self-deport, which is basically what this is. You're self-deporting, and they're telling you when you leave, make sure that you go into the CBP One app and notify them that you're departing so that they can count you in one of the people that they got deported. So
Jesus have mercy. And you're not going down with the 1,000 in your pocket. You're gonna wonder if you're gonna get the
I
ones
guess they're gonna
posted.
mail it to you, right?
Yes, they're gonna get all your information. Folks, if you just join, the show is there where you can watch from the beginning and you could get the information and make sure, just like you share all the fake videos, share the information. And on this Saturday, the 17th, repeat the time at John Jay College
So
for the citizenship.
appointment times run from 10 a.m. in the morning, and we close the door at 1. But if you have an appointment and you show up, we will let you in. Do not show up after 2 o'clock, Caribbean people.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Okay.
'Cause they
Do
might
not
say,
show up
well,
after 2 o'clock. But definitely call us and make an appointment. This way you come prepared. A lot of people just try to walk in and then, I have one guy come and did not bring his green card, come and did not bring the passport. So make sure you call and get an appointment so you get an email from us that tells you all of the things that you need to bring. Make sure you start. The other thing that we tell people, before they come in, like go through your passport, because you have to put your trips down. You need to know, where you've lived in the last 5 years. All of that stuff is, critical information that we tell you before you come in to start jotting down on a piece of paper. So when you come in, we're focused on your, eligibility, your immigration history. We don't want to be back and forth, trying to help you remember where you lived for the last 5 years. So we tell you what you need to do before coming in so that when you come in, you're prepared. And as I mentioned before, that you're leaving out with a completed application that is ready to be mailed to USCIS.
Lavon, I don't know what the $1,000 you wrote there mean, but the question being asked a few times. So if it's the $1,000 you want to know if you get in, you ain't getting no $1,000 on the Apple show. I just want you to know we're not even falling for the bait. What about people who are citizen, but Social Security website is saying they are not a citizen?
All right. So if you were born here, if you were naturalized, if you derive citizenship, any of those three buckets, if you're having an issue with your Social Security, you need to make an appointment. You need to take in your original documents, proof that you're a U.S. citizen. You can actually schedule an appointment on the Social Security website for a location that's close to you. And as I mentioned before, it may be an issue with your name, a variation in the way your name is spelled, that the two things are not, you're not doing identity is not matching up in the Social Security Administration website and the USCIS database. So you want to make sure that you go in with your proof, and that you show them that you're a US citizen. The good thing is that the new citizenship application actually asks a question if you want to notify US Social Security that you become a US citizen. I think that was one of the great benefits of the changes that they made in this new form. Like, a lot of people, once you become a US citizen, there are a lot more benefits for you. And, so getting your Social Security full and all that kind of stuff is one of that benefit.
Thank you so much. And people, you hear it, it's better to get an attorney, get legal advice than to go in and say you can do it yourself. Because if there's a glitch and you go there, you don't have anyone to represent you.
Yeah, but let me just clarify. There are lots of people who have straightforward immigration cases, and those are the type of people that we'll be helping at this event on Saturday. And those are the type of folks that we help at CUNY Citizenship Now. We help folks who can advocate for themselves. And before we send you in to advocate for yourself, we make sure that you can advocate for yourself, or we make sure that there's nothing in your immigration history, because we ask you to disclose everything to us. Like if you knew that you entered with a fraudulent document, if you knew that you obtained your green card in a non-traditional way, those are the things that we want to make sure that we go over with you, so you do not put yourself in a deportation or removal proceeding. But the folks who need to have an attorney with them, who need to go into immigration with an attorney, those are the folks that we're telling you need to find an attorney. If you have a very straightforward case, you've not lived outside for more than 6 months, you pay your taxes, you don't owe any child support, all of those things, we will tell you you can file on your own, because everything that you're going to say to USCIS is on this application. It is truthful. And, you know, once you tell the truth, you don't have to remember the lie.
Oh, that's true. But here, when you say straightforward, if you came here for education
Yes.
8 years ago, you finish, but you didn't return home.
All righty. So
Is that a
I'm
straightforward
assuming that
case?
this, no. So I'm assuming that this person, what they're saying is that they entered the country on as an international student on a visa, and that they have fulfilled all the requirements for that visa. So they've kept on going to school, whether it's they started as an associate and we went all the way up to a PhD. As long as you've maintained your status all the way. As an international student, you cannot apply for US citizenship. There's a step in between there where you need to get a green card. And for that green card, international students, most of them get it through their employer. So if the person has a green card through their employer, the normal rules of citizenship apply. You have to show that you have the green card for at least 5 years. If you got the green card through marriage, then that drops down to 3 years, and that's the 3-year rule. So the person would need to say, yes, they have a green card, and no, they don't have a green card.
Okay, but they came for school.
Yes.
They finished school 5 years ago,
Okay.
but they overstayed their time.
Okay, then. So that is now they fall into the undocumented bucket.
Okay. All right. So that's not a straightforward case. That's a case that
No,
requires.
that is a person who is here without status, who needs to have a general consultation with an attorney or a legal provider that goes over what their options are. Maybe they filed for something else. Maybe they have a pending I-130. Maybe they have something that they are looking forward to. So those are the things that they will go through and discuss with an attorney.
Okay, so folks, spread the word this Saturday at John Jay College in Manhattan, Citizen Drive. If you're looking for the flyer, it's still on the page, the Avril community page. And I'm going to also post it on the chat when I'm finished. But remember to call and make an appointment, because the worst thing is nobody make an appointment, but you're there thinking maybe 100 people, and then you have 400 people standing out there because you say it's free. So it's good to make an appointment. At least you know you have an appointment, because at least you're probably going to tell them you're going to be coming. So you're expecting that individual versus somebody who just walk in. Might have to be turned back.
Right. Yeah. So the thing is, if you do walk in, at least we'll tell you whether or not we can see you. And if we can't see you, we'll at least give you the information that you can start working on. We have a prep sheet that will tell you, start listing your trips. Start listing all of, you know, your workplaces that you've lived for the last 5 years, lived for the last 5 years. We'll give you the information for the next event, or we'll tell you to call us back for a regular appointment Monday through Friday.
Folks, send it out to people. You get the opportunity now to become a U.S. citizen. Take advantage of the situation. So if it's not for you, and if it's for a family or for a friend, spread it. We spread everything negative. We spread every video and everything that talk the word ICE. Well, now you're getting good information from someone you know and meet here on the Avril Show. Get out there on May 17 at John Jay College and call the number, make an appointment, and as you heard, get legal advice if you're not sure. Sometimes we just don't want to spend the money, but you're getting legal advice for free. So call the number that's there on the flyer, make an appointment, and go in. Avril can't answer the questions. She could only read the questions. Monique, I really thank you so much for taking the time and coming on and answer the questions that you do. And I know today, tomorrow, the next day, somebody's going to find this information interested, but we don't want them to miss it. So even the flyer, folks, share the flyer and let somebody know what's going on, because I know someone right now who is busy taxiing, who need to hear this information but can't, but at least the Citizen Drive is going to work for them, because that's their interest, is to become an interest. There is a case where a minor got a citizenship. She's now an adult with her citizenship for over 10 years. She tried to give it to her mother, but was told she can't because of the condition she got her green card. Can Miss Francis explain how that could be, or if she know of any such case?
So, Troy, the question that you're asking, I'm going to use my onion reference. Some of the facts that you're putting in there is not accurate. So, you're saying that the minor got her citizenship. It, how the minor got her citizenship, it has to be through a parent, because a minor can't get their citizenship until they're 18 or unless they've derived it. So, if the parent that gave the minor the citizenship is the father, and then the mother is now trying to get sponsored by that child who is a US citizen as well, then maybe that's what you're talking about. The information that you've presented, there are a number of different things. A lot of it depends, which is what an attorney would tell you. One of the things that you probably are talking about is that the mom is probably here and is undocumented, and maybe that's one of the reasons why the daughter cannot file for her. But this is another example of a case that requires you taking in your immigration documents. One of them is figuring out why you're saying that the minor, there's something wrong with the minor's green card. So that's another reason why we would do a FOIA request saying, let's figure out how did that minor, who's now an adult, obtain the green card. And maybe that's the reason why she cannot petition for her mother right now. So peeling back the onion, figuring out, one, how was the citizenship status for the petitioner, who is the adult child right now, and she wants to petition for her mother, figuring out how she obtained her green card and her citizenship, and then whether or not she is eligible to petition for her mother. So all of that requires a consultation. And I'm going to tell you at least two before we would proceed. Because one, we're going to tell you we would want to file a FOIA request to see whether or not that person obtained their green card and citizenship status legally, lawfully. And then from there, before we even touch the mom's case, figuring out whether or not she can actually sponsor her mother for a green card.
Thank you so much. And Troy, call and get free
consultation.
Advice. A consultation. That's
and that's one,
right
and that's now. That's one where you don't have to come in person. You can request to do something virtual. You can request a Zoom meeting, and then go over all of these details with the attorney. The attorney will tell you what documents you need to send to them, what documents you need to bring in, and basically figure out whether or not you can move forward with this case.
Thank you so much, and good night to you, Paris Lee. Thank you for joining us at the end of the show. I thank you so much, Monique. We came to the end of the 1 hour segment that we didn't think that we would be doing, but we thank you that you could answer the question, and people on the Avril Show community page, get the flyer, get the information, call and get a free consultation. The word is free, so there's no need not to do it. Okay? And Monique, again, on May 17 at John Jay College from 10 a.m. is the free citizenship drive, I call it. Get down there. Get there at 9 if you have to. So people, we thank you for tuning in. It's a pleasure. And Monique, I thank you so much. And if there's any more information, I will put it on the screen.
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Again, folks, Saturday is for green card holders who are looking to become U.S. citizen. If you've been here for 5 years, if you've been here for 10 years, now is the time for you to apply for citizenship. You guys see and hear what's going on. Some of it is not factual, but the underlying message is now is the time for you to become a U.S. citizen. And now is the time for you to get your act together.
Thank you so much. And you hear it from one Francis to another. It is the Francis Show. Thank you, Monique. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. Claudette Brown, thank you so much. I see you are late, but at least you could watch the show from the beginning. This is the Avril Show. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this program. And we will be talking more about it after did you go and become a U.S. citizen? That's all I want to hear from you.
Got everybody, this is Ty Tribbett, and you're watching the Avril Show, keeping it fresh.
All right. Thank you so much, Monique. And folks, just remember, get out there and get the help you need. It's free. God bless you. Good night. I love you.